Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. For those that are returning members, welcome back. Hopefully everyone is doing well. For those of you who are new to Houston HFES, welcome as well. We are just very excited to have our guest speaker here today. And we would like to welcome Bill Tipton. Bill has been working for HP or HPE for about 24 years and currently works in the HPE Product Accessibility Program Office. In 1999, Bill became legally blind. He is actively involved in employee programs to bring awareness to the needs of persons with disabilities by providing thoughtful solutions. In 2007, Bill was honored to represent HP as one of the Employees of the Year by Careers and the Disabled magazine for his professional advocacy and community outreach for people with disabilities. He is actively involved in councils, including the American Council of the Blind, California Council for the Blind, and the Silicon Valley Council for the Blind. He also has a fantastic blog that I really recommend everyone visiting. The link to that is actually on the notice for the meeting, and it is definitely worth a visit there. So without kind of further ado, I would love to turn it right over to our wonderful speaker.
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm very happy to be here. Hopefully you'll all enjoy yourself. What I was going to talk about today was screen readers, and then also give you a little demonstration about what it's like to navigate a web page when you do not have any eyesight like myself and just solely rely on some software called a screen reader to navigate. And just before I get started, in case you don't know what a screen reader is, it's a piece. I have a Windows 10 PC, for example, and there's a variety of Windows-based screen readers. The one I use is JAWS. There's a built-in one called Narrator in the Windows 10 PC. And on your Macintoshes, you'll find one called VoiceOver, and there's also built-in screen readers in pretty much all mobile devices these days, Androids and Apple mobile devices. So with that, I'll get started, and as I go through here, feel free to pop any questions in the chat area, and then we can go through here, and hopefully you can hear my screen when I start navigating through here. And what I've pulled up here, just as an example web page, I thought it would be nice to show you some examples of accessibility issues that prevent people who use screen readers like myself from fully accessing all the content that maybe the web designer or the application developer wanted them to access. So we'll get started here.
An accessible home page dash before and after.
What you'll hear too, hopefully you can hear that, you'll hear me using specific keystrokes. And when I go through, I'll try to tell you what I'm doing as well. Because screen reader users have to memorize hundreds of different keystrokes to navigate through applications, websites, and all kinds of documents as well. So usually I pretend like I want a brand new user to this page with a screen reader, so I'll press H, and that will jump me to the headings.
Wrapping the top, an accessible home page.
Like there's just one heading. And another thing I'll mention, how it knows that's a heading. Screen readers read the code behind, in this case, a web page, but if it's a web application or just a standalone application, it will read the code behind the scenes that you visually cannot see. That's how some of this stuff is made accessible, by doing the proper coding in the background to make all this work correctly. So now, screen readers do not use a mouse. You only use their tab keys to jump from link to link, and I'll show you that. Or you use your arrow keys to kind of scroll through the page. So I'll tab once.
List with 6 items. Overview link.
So this is a list with 6 items, so at least it tells me there's 6 items in this list view.
List with 2 items. Inaccessible home page report link.
Here's another one.
Accessible home page link. Accessible home page report link.
So I'm just tabbing through. And that's how screen readers jump from link to link. You tab or you shift tab to go backwards.
Accessible home page
Also
link.
shift tab.
Access show annotations link. News link. Tickets link.
Now what I'll do here is I'll just go into one of these areas so you can see it, but go down a little bit.
Visited link survey. Visited link
Go
news.
into news here.
Link show annotate visited link
Go
news.
into the news link.
Enter news link. Welcome
And
to City
since I don't use a mouse, I press enter or the space key to activate links. So that one got activated. So now I'll start arrowing to see where I'm at.
Improving a website using web content accessibility guidelines. Left parent WCAG, right parent 2.0.
And
List of 6 items. Link overview. Visited link home.
I may go a little bit quickly through some of these parts, but let me know if I go too fast.
Current location news. List of 2
That
items.
told me where
Nesting
my
level
current
1.
location was. So I did press enter on the news link, so I can be confident I'm there.
Inaccessible inaccessible news page. Link inaccessible news page report.
These are other sections on this website.
Visited link accessible news page. Visited link accessible news page. List end nesting link show annotate. Visited link ticket. Visited link sir link temp. List end. Demo starts here.
So now I'm at the start of this demo because this, in case you want to grab this URL, this page is really neat because it shows you some bad examples on one page and then some good examples of the same components in another section.
Visited link graphic red dot with a white letter C that symbolizes a moon crescent as well as the sun. This logo is followed by a black banner that says City Light Switch.
So what that is, there's a graphical image on the web page and somebody did a little bit of a coding to it to add some alternative descriptions. And that's why my screen reader is reading the alternative descriptions out loud. So I'll arrow down.
Is the name of this online portal. Finally, the slogan of the portal, your access to the city. A slight slant across the top banner.
It's describing what's there.
Combo box quick menu dash greater.
That combo box, I won't go in there. But for example, I would press enter and then the combo box would pop open and I could press the down arrow key to navigate through the sections. And then it would automatically bring me to that section of this web page.
Traffic construction work blank. Unlabeled graphic imp / nav _ home on mouse over.
So you probably heard that.
Blank. Unlabeled graphic imp / nav _ home on mouse over.
Graphic unlabeled and then some garbage. That's a sign that some developer accidentally forgot to give that graphical element an alternative text. So that's an accessibility issue that would get flagged by this one would get flagged by an automated accessibility testing tool because this is just like it's just missing unless for some reason the person, which they probably didn't do, is add an alternative text with garbage in it. But usually people wouldn't do that. They would, if they're going to add it at all, they would actually do it correctly.
Blank. Unlabeled graphic imp / nav unlabeled graphic imp / nav _ news on mouse
There's
over.
Another one, and this one here you could tell that at least this untagged graphic has to do with the news, but I don't know what that picture is. Screen.
Unlabeled graphic imp / nav _ facts on mouse
There's
over.
another unlabeled graphic and it's something to do with facts. I can tell that.
Unlabeled graphic imp / nav _ facts on mouse over. Unlabeled graphic imp / nav _ survey on mouse
There's
over.
Unlabeled graphic about a survey.
City Lights News. Heat wave link to man gets nigh after 3 years of effort. City scientists.
Let me go up to the top and we'll show you something different here.
Man heat City Lights. Unlabeled. Trombone. The way that picture of copier. W. Ursum lit keo chan shot edge wide acknowledge wide help search content wide copier W MIT lit Ursum lit keo liab trade document software public member Search toolbar. View site address and skip to W3C low web accessible list with home link. List with 2 items. Accessible : accessible news page. Accessible news page. Show annotation. Tickets link. Survey link.
Let's go to this ticket.
Tickets link. Enter. Welcome to City Lights.
Okay, so this is another example, and so this is a page that has supposedly some information about tickets. So,
improving a website using webcon wrapping to top. Inaccessible tickets
okay,
page.
so it's an inaccessible tickets page when I did H key to go to the heading. So I know that I'm on the correct page.
Improving a website
I'll
using
start
web
trying to find
content
the
accessibility guidelines. List of link over visited link visited current low list of in access link in access visited link accessible tickets page.
And just to save you a little bit of time here, once you get experience with, going to the page and over and over again, you kind of get familiar and you kind of memorize the layout. So I went here earlier today just for a little bit because I wanted to kind of give you the experience of a new user to a website, because it takes a screen reader users a while to kind of memorize the layouts and what is on the pages so you can actually navigate quicker. So I know that this page has a table.
2 columns and 2 rows. Column
So-
1,
so I
row
pressed-
1. Less Garson.
Press the T key, and that's a table reading command, actually a table command, so that jumps to the table. And then I'll press the down arrow key.
The obelisks.
Now I'll actually use table reading commands. The other was jump to the table. And for example, I do Control, Alt.
End of row. Les Garson's column 1.
That allows me to navigate within the table.
The obelisks column 2. Top of column.
There's the top of the column.
24/3/06, row 2.
So it's reading me that. Can't quite tell what that is.
End of row. 12 beginning of row. Bottom of column. Less top of column. The obelisks column 2.
You can see that that is really confusing, and I can't really relate to the column and rows where this data is. So I really can't tell what it's trying to tell me there. Let me press T and see if there's any more tables.
1 columns and 2 rows. Column 1,
So there's
row
one
1.
column and 2 rows in this table. So that always gives screen readers a clue about, what am I looking for? How much data is there? How many columns? So I'll use the down arrow key to go down a row.
Music line phone number graphic. City Lights music line phone number graphic.
We do these table reading commands.
End of row. Beginning top of column.
So there it was kind of not very good of an experience. I didn't really see any data in that table. And this is the example of a poorly constructed table. So I don't think there's any more tables there, so we'll go out of this section.
Copyright link. Double copy. Welcome to. Selected. Welcome to. Visited same page link. Skip to inaccessible demo page. Link graphic. Double link graphic. Heading level 1 inaccessible. Improving a website. Heading level 1 link graphic. Double visited same page link. Skip to inaccessible demo page.
Go back to the skip to inaccessible demo page.
Enter. Welcome to City Demo.
And the reason why I did that is I couldn't really locate another section to show you. Like, for example, there was another section, forms, I wanted to show you, but I couldn't easily find it. So I'm going to try to find it from scratch here by going to the beginning.
Visited link graphic red dot with the name of a slight combo graphic unlabeled City Light City special insert copyright W copy welcome to visited same page link skip to link graphic W link graphic web heading level improving list of link overview visited link home visited link news current location tickets
still on tickets stuck there for some reason.
List of 2 item inaccessible inaccessible tickets page link inaccessible tickets page report accessible visited link accessible tickets page link accessible tickets page list and net link show annotation.
Okay, so since I'm kind of stuck here, we'll get back to the other part where I was going to show you a form, but while we're here, let's show you what a table should look like.
List and link accessible tickets page report. Visited link accessible tickets page.
Accessible tickets page.
Enter list with 6
now
items.
let's
List
look at
with
the table that's constructed correctly. So I'll do the T command.
2 columns and 3 rows. Insert dates.
2 columns and 3 rows. Now I'll start using my table reading commands, which is Alt, Control, and then my arrow keys just to navigate through the table.
Event column 2.
That column header is called named event.
End of row. Date column 1. Event column. Date column
Other
1.
column header is a date. And then I'll arrow down while I'm holding my Control and Alt key.
12 Feb 09. Row
There it
2.
actually read correctly, and I can tell it's a date. Now I'll keep with my Alt and Control key held down. I'll go over to the right.
If. Legazel. Column 2.
Okay. So that's a person's name. I'll tell you about why I read it that way in a second.
Date 12 Feb 24 Mar 09.
Okay, there's
Row
another
3.
date.
Event the obelisks column 2.
There I was able to relate what day it is, what column I'm in, completely easy because the person who designed this part of this table coded the headers correctly. And there could be row headers as well over to the left. It's possible to have both, but this is just a simple table example. And you heard it speak another language. That's because screen readers, at least mine does, there's a setting in it that will pick up language behind the scenes in the code that tell screen readers that this is whatever language that was speaking, and it will actually pronounce it in that language. For example, if you have a person with a Spanish name and you want it to actually speak in Spanish, or at least give it the accents of a Spanish name, screen readers will read through, like I mentioned, read through what you visually see on the screen and pick up the language attributes and translate that into the spoken text that you hear on my screen reader. And there's a setting in my screen reader. If I don't want that to always do that, I can always tell it, don't ever switch languages. My screen reader is probably the most popular in the world. Actually, some people say it is. And it's got probably like 1,000 different settings. I usually keep mine pretty much the default. I change a couple customizations when I'm using particular applications like Microsoft Outlook, Microsoft Word, Internet Explorer. Well, actually, that isn't really supported anymore, but like Google Chrome, Firefox browsers, for example. I don't usually change anything. I keep them the default because occasionally I will evaluate maybe web applications or applications. And once you start tweaking your screen reader, it's really hard to tell, is it a screen reader problem or is it an application problem, accessibility problem?
24 Legazel.
Now that we looked at this, I'll see what else we can find on this page. And I'm going to go use another shortcut key because screen readers are just full of shortcut keys in their memory. So I'll do Control Home.
City lights ticket.
That's a command to jump to the top of the page. So let's see what else we can find here.
Skip to accessible demo page. Same W3 web access list with home link, news link, list with 2 items. An accessible ticket, news link.
Okay, we looked at news earlier.
Enter city lights
This
news.
is the good news example here. The accessible example.
Improving a web list of link overview. Visited link home. Current location list of 2 inaccessible colon. Visited link inaccessible news page. Link inaccessible news page. Accessible colon. Accessible news page. Visited link accessible list and net link show and visited link ticket. Visited link survey.
This page is not too exciting, especially when it works good like this one's going to. But if you remember in the previous version, there was lots of untagged graphics that made reading this web page very unpleasant.
Link template. List end. Demo starts here.
We're at the beginning of the demo.
List of 2 items. Same page link, skip to content, left parent within demo page, right
You
parent.
see the skip to link? You heard that there.
List the same page link, skip to content, left parent within
That's
demo
actually a
page, right
good
parent.
accessibility trait to this web page. It actually is part of the WCAG guidelines that this is actually an offshoot of that page. So what this allows is to jump past links to bypass, because you see I have to like down arrow all the time, and that's really time consuming. So if you have a skip to link, it will bypass all of the links and header information at the top of the page and bring you right to the content.
List of same page link, skip to content, left parent within demo page, right
So it
parent.
skips to the content within the same page. So I'll press the space key because that will activate that link.
Space. 11 headings and 50 links. Heading level city
So it
lights.
brought me there. 11 headings and 50 links, it actually said.
Would you mind? This is Nick. Can I jump in with a question?
Yes, feel free.
One of individual from the audience wanted to know: do you navigate by landmarks then through these pages once you kind of get used to them?
Yes. Yeah. You can navigate by headings, which is a landmark, and there's regions, and there's another command for that.
No region.
The R command, and there's no regions. So yes, I do navigate by landmarks. And also, for example, if there's, like, if you go to a web page and you know, like, we'll just say like Google, for example, when you're doing Google searches, if you know there's an edit field somewhere on the page, if you press the letter E,
no edit boxes.
Or say no edit boxes. So you can actually jump to lots of different, and also like if you know there's buttons, for example, instead of links.
Wrapping to top, go button.
So there was a go button. So letter B actually will jump from button to button. You know, there's lots of shortcut keys to jump from element to element. Hopefully that answered your question.
List with 4 news. Visited link tickets. Visited link survey. List end. Heading level 1 city lights news. Heading level 2 heat wave linked after 3 years of efforts cost the sit had 5 tops and 1 to a heading level 3 tough Wahani quote. We soon realized we knew it could rough. It visited link the way that air conditioning work. Air condition use of air heading level 3 return to sender. When questioned whether the lab whining those kinds of questions, why are you doing this? Why are there all those discrepancies in the department accounts? But it was after we had written up the results. We later found that he took 40% of his sick days on Mondays or Fridays. How convenient. Heading level 3 air-con fact-finding mission.
Okay.
MRSB Wahani in front of a canyon graphic.
See, there's like no more graphics that are not tagged. So reading this is pretty smooth. And screen reader users like myself too, if there's lots of text like this one, you can actually just use one keyboard command, like control, here you go.
MRSB Wahani in front of a canyon graphic. MRSB Wahani investigates shipping hot air to Australia. Heading level 2 man gets 9 months in violin case as news of the conviction and sentencing of infamous violin thief passed away.
So actually I just use one command. It's insert and then
home. Furious at the boring
and the down arrow key here. Actually it's right below the dot, let's turn this off here.
Num lock on. Num lock off. Have come under fire for lean. Furious have come.
Turn this.
Num lock on. Num lock off. Furious at the as news heading level MRSB MRS heading level 3 air-con fact-finding mission.
Another section on this page.
We had written up the lab whining when questioned. Heading level 3 return to sender. Use of air vis rock. We knew we soon heading land 1 had 5 cost the sit after 3 years of effort.
Before I go this, I was going to let you know something too. It might be interesting if you I've been using the screen reader. I went blind in May of 1999 suddenly, and I've been using the screen reader since the year 2000. And as you can tell, there's lots and lots of keystrokes to memorize. And after a while, you memorize all those keystrokes and you just do what you verbally cannot tell somebody else the keystrokes you did. Like for example, that keystroke I did to read the whole page, my hands know how to do it, but I do it so often that, it's just ingrained in my brain that, I verbally forgot that keystroke to tell you what I did. I know.
Heading level 2 heat wave. Heading list at visited news. Visited link home.
To another section.
List of 4 heading level 2 navigation today cold traffic go combo explore sunny sped visit list end same page link skip to navigate visited same page link skip to content left list of 2 demo starts here list end link template visited link survey visited link tickets.
Let's go to this survey.
Visited link survey enter list with 6 items survey.
Okay, this is the accessible survey.
City Lights survey left bracket accessible survey page right bracket dash Google Chrome.
Probably heard that. And that's another shortcut key for my screen reader. Insert T. And this is something that lots of people I've noticed forget. They forget to put a title attribute on the web page or the web application. And it's really nice to know where you are without trying to figure it out, going to the top of the page, trying to figure out, am I on the correct page?
City Lights survey left bracket accessible survey page right bracket dash Google Chrome.
And I did that again, insert T. And that's in it. My screen reader just read the title attribute on this web page. So let me go down here and see what this survey is all about.
Improving a web list of 6 items. Link overview. Visited link home. Visited link news. Visited link tickets. Current location : survey. List of 2 inaccessible : visited link inaccessible survey page.
Or later, if it doesn't bounce me out of here completely.
Link inaccessible survey page or accessible survey page. Link accessible list end nest link show annotate link template list end demo starts
looks
here.
Like we're in the right section now.
List of 2 same page link skip to content left parent within demo page right parent.
Skip to content. Let's try it and see if it brings me right to the part we're looking for.
Space. 5 headings and 4 heading level 2 this week's survey : more city parks.
So that's like really good. Brought me right to the survey, and I skipped all the stuff that was previous to it that I would have had to arrow through.
Fields are required if not otherwise noted. Group start favorite park.
Okay.
Which is your favorite city park? None radio button not checked 1 of 1. Central Park radio button not checked space none Central Park radio button checked so 1 of 1.
The space, I checked that checkbox by pressing the space bar. And you can uncheck it by doing the space bar too.
Space. None Central Park radio button checked 1 of 1. None radio button not checked 1 of 1. Central Park radio button checked 1 of 1 space. None Central Park radio button checked 1 of 1.
Didn't uncheck it. That's pretty odd.
Grand Park radio button not checked 1 of 1.
Something different here.
Space Central Grand Park radio button checked 1 of 1.
I see why. Because this is, you actually have to choose one of these. So
Central Park radio Grand None radio. Which is your favorite city park?
Which is your favorite city park? So you must choose one. So that's why it didn't uncheck. Some surveys, you probably know that you can skip it if you don't like any of the choices.
None Central Park radio button not checked. Grand Park radio button checked 1 of 1.
This works perfectly fine. I was able to check the box with the space bar, and I can go through and arrow down and check another checkbox, and then it would choose that one instead of the previous.
Jurassic South Park other radio group end. Group start greenest city.
Here's the next section.
Which city do you find? Cities of the world. Combo box. Select a city from this list.
Combo box. Press enter to make the combo box open.
Enter. Greenest city. Abuja, Accra, Ghana.
Choose that one.
Abuja, Accra, Ghana. Enter. Cities of the world combo box. Accra, Ghana.
Okay, so it chose that one.
Group end. Group start free newsletter left parent optional right parent.
If you want to sign up for a free newsletter.
Free newsletter left parent optional right parent group. Mr. Radio button not checked. 1 space. Mr. Radio button checked. Name edit as pop-up. Type in text. B-I-L-L. Email address as pop-up. B. Percent. Equals. At. Retype email. Email address edit as pop-up. Type in text. B. T.
I'm gonna try something here.
Retype email edit as pop-up. T. Submit button to activate. Press enter. Enter. City Lights Survey list end. List heading level 1 City Lights Survey dash submission failed.
Okay. So I
Hi,
typed.
it's Nick again. Could I jump in with a question from the audience?
Yes, feel free.
So the question is, what do you feel is the best practice for indicating required fields versus optional for a survey like this? And what about error messages?
Great question and perfect timing too. Because we're right there and it popped up an error message. I personally like the required fields because screen readers can read an asterisk, for example. So you have a little text at the beginning above the form field, say required fields are marked by an asterisk. And you could also, screen readers cannot read color. You can add some color there for people who can see color. That's perfectly fine, but you need to actually have something other than color. So that's a good way, verbally describe it before the field, how you've used to mark them. Like I said, an asterisk. And then the other question, which is even more critical that lots of people forget to do, is error prevention and correction. Let's see what it told me here. It told me I did something wrong and I did that on purpose.
List end. Heading level 1 City Lights survey. Heading level 2 this week's survey more error dash the submission failed due to the following 2 problems .
So this actually told me there was 2 problems. So that's a good sign. Let's see what it told me. Because I know, let's see if it picked them up.
List of 2 item 1. You have not provided a same page link valid email for the optional newsletter.
So that was correct. There was no at, .com, .org, .gov or anything. So that's true. So that's really good.
2. You have not provided a same page link matching email dash retype for the optional newsletter.
My emails did not match. So that's pretty good. Would even be better is after you read this, there was some way to go back to the field so you can correct them. Because, for example, maybe this form field was 40 form field elements. For you to go back and try to find those ones that you made a mistake in would be very difficult. So it'd be really good. Maybe it says it down here. Let me go farther.
List end. The respective fields have been marked with an asterisk left parent star right parent in the form below. Fields are required if not otherwise noted. Group start favorite park.
Okay. So it didn't. But if you had a little jump to link to the errors so you can resolve them, that would be beneficial for error resolution when filling out form fields.
Fields are required. Group start. Which is your favorite city park?
So I'll go on unless there's any more questions here to something else here.
List with valid list, news link, home link, go button, explore site, city lights, list with skip to content left, list with show annotation, list with inaccessible survey page report link.
Now we're going to go check out the inaccessible survey.
Enter. Inaccessible survey page. Same page link jump to beginning of inaccessible report page.
I'm in the wrong section. So
inaccessible survey page report. Inaccessible survey page report. Inaccessible survey page report. Jump to beginning of inaccessible report page. W3 web accept list. Home link. News link. Tickets link. List with 2 items. Inaccessible : visited link survey page. Visited link survey page. Inaccessible : visited link survey page.
Said inaccessible
Welcome to City
survey
Lights.
page. Let's see.
Visited same page link skip to inaccessible demo page. Link graphic link graphic web heading level 1 inaccessible survey page dash before and after demonstration.
Might be in the right section.
Improving the web list of sick link overview. Visited link home. Visited link news. Visited link tickets. Current location : survey.
Okay.
List of 2
Like I'm
items
in the right
nesting level
section.
1. Inaccessible :
Inaccessible section too.
Inaccessible survey page. Visited link inaccessible survey page report. Accessible : Visited link accessible survey page. Link accessible survey page report. List and nest link show annotation. Link template. List and demo starts here. Visited link graphic red dot with a white is the name of this online portal. Finally, the slogan of the port: a slight slant, a combo graphic blank. Unlabeled graphic image / nav _ home on mouse over.
Now we're in that inaccessible form survey, actually, which is actually a form. So there's some graphics with no alternative text here.
Blank. Unlabeled graphic image / nav _ news on mouse over. Unlabeled graphic image / nav. Unlabeled graphic image / nav _ survey on
Okay,
mouse
some
over.
more graphics with no alternative text.
City lights survey.
I'm down in the survey section almost.
This week's survey : more city table with 4 columns and 3 rows.
Let's see here. Down all right.
Which is your favorite city park?
This you probably recognized from before.
Radio button not checked, 1 of 1.
Okay, there's a radio button. You've seen the radio button on the last page. Actually told me the name of the city when I was toggling the radio button.
Radio button not checked,
Here
1
it
of
doesn't
1.
tell you the city when I'm using the down arrow keys. Let's even see if the toggle works.
Radio button not
Choose the
checked,
radio
1 of
button.
1. Space radio button checked, 1 of
Okay,
1.
so I can choose the radio button, but I really don't know what I chose. So that's an accessibility problem right there.
None radio button not checked, none. None radio button checked, 1 of 1. Radio button not
Most
checked,
screen
1 of
reader
1.
users would just, arrow down and like I'm doing here, and they don't find, the city they're looking for. But I've seen this accessibility problem before.
Which is your radio button not checked,
But
1
most
of
screen
1.
readers users might not do this, but if I arrow to the right.
None Central Park Grand Park, column 2.
So Central Park Grand Park. So I'm assuming
Radio button not checked, radio button checked, radio button not checked, column 1.
I kind of read a bunch of garbage, but I'm assuming that radio button ties to this answer.
None Central Park Grand Park, column 2.
That's just a guess, and it's really not an accessible experience. And so arrow down and see what else we could find here.
Central Park Grand Park, radio button not checked, 1 of 1. Radio button not checked, 1. Jurassic Park, radio button not checked, 1 of 1. Radio Grand Park, Central Park.
I don't even know what that question is either.
Grand Park. Radio button not checked, 1 of 1. Radio button not checked, 1 of 1.
So at this point, if I was lost, I might press the tab key and see if it brings me to something.
Jurassic Park, radio button not checked, 1 of 1.
Press spacebar.
Space, Jurassic Park, radio button
Okay,
checked,
so then
1
it
of
chose
1.
it. But see, this one isn't designed very well. It's really hit and miss if you're going to be able to fill it out correctly.
Table, column 1, row 2, combo box. Select the city -- greater. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
Choose a city. And I tab to it, and it really didn't tell me what the question is, but let me press enter.
Enter, expand. Afghanistan, Albania, Tirana. To move to an item, press the arrow key.
There and choose that one.
Enter. Which city do you find is the greenest? Mr. Radio button not checked, 1 of 2.
Press tab, and it looks like I'm in the form field. Didn't tell me what it is, but when we seen before, it was a sign up for the mailing list.
Space, Mr. Radio button checked. Edit as pop-up, type in text.
Right there, I tabbed to the next form field. It did not tell me what I'm supposed to enter. So the screen reader user would not know how to fill out this form.
Edit as pop-up, type in text.
Next form field doesn't have a label either.
Edit as pop-up, type in text.
That one doesn't either.
Submit button to activate, press enter.
The screen reader user would have no idea how to fill out this form.
Table email address, retype email.
So what I did then is, that's if you're using the tab key, which if it was accessible, you should be able to fill out the form, but you could use your arrow keys and kind of guess what those form fields are.
Do you want to receive a free newsletter? Call 1 row 2. Edit as pop-up. Type in text. Submit but table end. Email. Submit button to
And did you
activate.
hear
Press
those
enter.
popping noises? That's my screen reader. At least my screen reader automatically goes in and out of forms mode when it comes across these form fields. So it's trying to, well, actually not trying to guess. It knows these are form fields, but just the way the form fields were coded and labeled, it's just isn't working well.
Copyright link.
Well, that's the inaccessible form field, which is the survey.
Table end.
Any more questions? Did you have so far?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay, let me go to the top here.
Welcome to Skip to Inaccessible Demo Page. Same W3C logo. Web Accessibility Initiative. Left parent. List with home link. News link. Tickets link. List with 2 accessible survey page link. Accessible survey page. Show annotations. Template link. Red dot with a combo box. Quick menu dash 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 greater. To change the selection, use the arrow
I'll show you
keys.
what this quick menu looks like then.
Enter expanded. Broad education. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
So by activating that menu, you can actually jump to certain sections. Like
Education. Welcome to City Lights. Left bracket inaccessible survey page. Right bracket combo box education. Heading level 1. This is the end of the internet. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Well, not exactly, but the end of the demo as you followed an external link.
okay, so like go back here.
Dot dot dot. City
It's
Lights dash
Nick
V.
again. A question did actually pop up in the chat.
Okay.
So I was wondering if I could jump in here. When
Sure.
you're using a specific page or survey, are you trying to build a mental model of the layout or structure?
Usually no, because usually surveys are like one-time things. You know, like you're not going to be doing it over and over again. And usually surveys, they could be really accessible. So I don't try to memorize the contents of a survey.
Thank you.
But pages, web pages, like I said earlier, that I visit over and over again, that have like, we'll just say like 6 sections. I know there's headings, there's regions. I know that like 5 tabs past the edit field, there's this and this, you know. So there I definitely do.
Search tabs button toolbar. View site and selected. w3.org/start over. Search tabs but toolbar. View site information. Address and search. Start over. Space. City Lights dash. Search tab toolbar. View site info. Address and search. Start over link.
Okay, there's a start over link.
Enter. Before and after demonstration overview. 3:49 p.m. Same page link. Jump to beginning of the overview page.
Okay, let's just go to, this isn't a demo, but I'll just show you what the overview page looks like. Maybe this has some more navigation options we can try.
Same page link. Jump to beginning of the enter. Before and after demonstration about.
This actually describes how to best use this demonstration page for creating accessible web pages. So I'm going to see here, press an H key.
Demo contents heading level 2.
That's a heading level 2.
Using the demo heading level 2.
Using the demo.
Wrapping to top. Overview before and after demonstration heading level 1.
Okay, you see this is heading level 1. And this is really good to show you. So that's heading level 1.
About the demo heading level 2.
About the demo is heading level 2.
Demo contents heading level 2.
Demo contents heading level 2. So heading should be structured. That means like heading level 1 should be the top category. Then below that, subcategories, if there are some. And then even further, if there is subcategories below the heading level 2s, you could have some heading level 3s. But it's usually best to never start with like heading level 3 or 2. It should be in sequence. What else on this page?
Before and after, no regions.
No regions.
No
no
buttons.
buttons,
No
no
edit boxes.
Let me show you something else here. Screen reader users have lots of ways to maneuver very quickly. Some things are actually, for me, quicker to do than a sighted person using a mouse. Let me show you another keystroke here.
Links list dialog. Links list view. Jump to beginning of the overview page. 1 of 43. To move. W3C logo. 2 of Web Accessibility Initiative. Home. News. 5. Tickets. 6 of 40. Survey. 7 of 43. Template. 8 of 43. Tickets. News. Home. 4 of Web Accessibility Initiative. Home. News. 5 of 43.
Let me go to this news here. So what I brought up there was a list of hyperlinks. And that was a JAWS keyboard command, insert F7. And you see this list of links on the page. This is an accessibility best practice too. There should be no duplicate link names here. And for the link name alone, screen reader users should know what the content is and where they're going to be brought to.
Home. News. 5 of 43. Home. 4. News. Tickets. 6. New. Home. Web accessible. Home. 4 of 43. News. 5
link.
of 43. Tickets. Survey. 7 of 43. Template. 8 of web content. Home page. News page. Tickets page. Survey page. Template. Home page. News page. 60. Tickets page. Survey page. Ticket. News page. Home page. 15 of news page. Home page. News page. 16 of 43. Home page. 15 of 43. Enter.
I'll go here.
9 headings and welcome.
Example on that list of links there. There should be no links that aren't descriptive. For example, like click here or see more or read this. Just link names that are not descriptive. Let me see what's here.
Visited same page link skip to accessible demo page. Link graphic link graphic web heading level 1 accessible home page improving a list of 6 visited link overview current location list of 2 inaccessible visited link inaccessible home page. Visited link inaccessible home enter. Welcome to City Lights. Left wrap news.
It's Nick again. Could I jump in with a question real quick?
Yes.
So are there any accessibility mistakes that you feel are particularly pervasive that you see in websites?
Yes. The number one issue that I've seen is people forgetting to put alternate text on graphics. So that's out there a lot. And you've seen how when you're trying to read something with a graphic that doesn't have alternate text, it's just not a really good experience for screen reader users, especially if there's so many of them. And that's actually really simple to fix too. For example, there could be graphics on buttons, there's graphics on hyperlinks, there's graphics right in the middle of the page. And one thing I'll note too, if you have a graphic that doesn't add any value to screen reader users, for example, just a line going across the screen to show people with eyesight, how it's broken up, but has no meaning for screen reader users, you can just mark it decorative. So you don't have to tag it with unneeded, tagging saying this is a line, because screen reader users usually do not care about like lines or other kinds of images that don't add content to the meaning of the web page or application. Another thing that I've noticed a lot too that it seems to be tricky, checkboxes and radio buttons. Lots of times those do not work by keyboard alone, space bar or the enter key to toggle those off and on. Those just seem to be tricky for some developers.
Thank you. Another question came up with regard to the duplicate links.
Yes.
I see there are a lot of pages with show more. Would adding an area labeled by element to describe what the show more link is be accessible, or is there another way?
Yes, as long as there's a show more and then add a couple more words at the end, so you kind of figure out what you're going to be going to.
And then another one came in as well. Are automatically generated alt text helpful at all, or can that add to the confusion, reduce intention, kind of reduce intentional alternate text creation?
It's better than nothing. You have somewhat of a clue. Like, for example, if somebody takes a picture and shares it in the automatically generated alt text says, outdoor in nature and a tree, so you kind of at least have an idea. Sometimes it doesn't get it correctly. So it's better than nothing. But actually, I've seen some automatically generated alt text. I guess it goes out to some library of images. One time I had a picture of my wife online, and it said it was actually my wife's sister. It said, picture of Judy standing by Bill or something, So it's better than nothing, but it's not very exact though. But at least you're not completely left out in the dark. It's a picture of a person, and the person's outside.
You had mentioned, if I could throw in a question actually of my own,
Yes.
you had mentioned before that there's a lot to kind of learn and memorize in terms of the keys utilized and everything else. Could you just describe a little bit about that kind of training process? I mean, I could just imagine the frustration level and just kind of pecking keys in order to navigate through it. Are there assistive systems that train individuals, or what is that process like?
Oh, by the way, I love your question because most people don't have any idea about what it takes to learn assistive technology, and actually how assistive technology trainers have to go through special education to train disabled people on how to use a variety of assistive technologies, not only screen readers. But for me, I went blind, was in the hospital for quite some time, got out I went blind in like May of 99, got out of the hospital, December of 99, instantly went into training, I'd say like January of 2000. And I was in constant training for probably 2 years. Not only learning my screen reader, but you have to learn how to use your screen reader with like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Outlook, browsing the web. Every application is different. And then, I was actually taking grade 1 and grade 2 Braille at the same time, and also going through orientation mobility training to try to learn how to walk with my white canes. But yes, it takes a lot of training and a lot of practice. And with every new release of the software and screen reader, potentially it's different keystrokes, or the way you interact with it is different because screen readers are always being updated, applications are being updated. So it's a constant learning curve, but it's not frustrating at the beginning if you get the training required, but later on, if you just start to have to wing it, do training here and there, and if you can and have the time, then, but I use it hundreds and thousands of hours, so daily for my personal and professional life. But excellent question.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to put again, if anyone has any questions they'd love to ask, you're welcome to put them in the chat, and I'm happy to report them out.
While we're waiting for that, I'll show you something here. I think on this page.
Skip to inaccessible demo page, same space. Demo starts. Welcome to SIP. Visited same page link, skip to inaccessible demo page. Link graphic W. Visited link graphic is the name of this on a slides combo box graphic blank unlabeled graph unlabeled welcome city lights visited link man gets visited after visited blank mayor call visited link new blank brain donations visited blank elsewhere on the please see the following web below blank bullet graphic killer bees visited link click here.
Okay, there's the example of a link that's not descriptive. I thought there was one on this page. It just says click here.
Killer visited link click
There's
here.
a clicker link.
Killer visited link click
I
here.
would not have any idea where that would take me unless I activate it.
Bullet graphic. Onions.
Untag graphic.
Visited link click
Another
here.
click here link. So duplicate link name plus it's not descriptive.
Blank. Artichoke advice at 12:30 for free penguins. Quote free penguin visited link read more dot dot
There's the
dot.
read more link. So it doesn't tell you what you're going to read more about.
Blank. More city parks. More parks and visited link read more dot
Another
dot dot.
duplicate link and a non-descriptive link name.
Link
I
copyright.
thought there was one on this page.
Another question just came in. So with the challenges you mentioned with learning new releases, what can designers and developers do to help make that easier?
Great. Another excellent question. And it is really easy. Like for example, we'll just use an example, no specific example, but we'll just say like a web application. We'll just say it has 20 screens, 20 screens, 10 user interface components on each one of those screens. And it's relatively simple, but what I've seen is like some developers maybe have a bunch of people developing it. So like one screen, 2 screens may be developed by one person, because the problem is the user elements on the screens are different. For example, when I say that, I mean like if you have a button that should advance the page forward, and on one screen it has like a right arrow with an alternate text that says, move forward. And then on another screen it says jump forward, another screen. So you just need to be consistent in the way you navigate. And all the buttons for all the controls within the same application need to be labeled the same. So hopefully that makes sense. Just label all the buttons consistently throughout the whole application for navigating.
Thank you for that.
And I'll add one more piece on that if you don't mind.
Oh, no, please.
Some applications are very difficult to use because they're not intuitively designed. And I'm a person who doesn't want to go read a whole manual just to try to learn how to use an application. You should be able to figure it out relatively easy. Maybe read a little bit, but you don't need to memorize a novel. If it's intuitively laid out and you don't have to click, press enter 10 times and down arrow key to a drop down list, just make a simple design that you could figure out on the fly would also be beneficial.
I don't see any more questions. Well, someone might be putting one in. We'll give a minute.
And you've seen the way I navigate through this thing. It's very structured in the way I jump around in headings and regions and tab and this and this. If your web application or web page was very structured, it can be just as smooth as me navigating, even this inaccessible web page. Some of the stuff isn't labeled, but at least I can navigate it. But some applications are so complicated, you can't really navigate it without, reading some manual first. I know these are just flat web pages, though, not an application.
Well, thank you again. We're right about the time,
Okay.
Mark. But if there are any other questions to follow up, I'm happy to send them through. Oh, we do have 2 quick ones. Would you mind 2 more? Would that be okay?
Not at all. No,
All right.
I love questions.
So are shallower or broader or deeper navigational structures more usable with a screen reader?
Shallow is probably easier for the developer. And I'll say broader is fairly easy. And I'll just use one example. Like if you have like collapsible and uncollapsible menus, where you can collapse it, expand it, those are relatively easy too. If you need to have, multiple level user interface, if you design those correctly, those are relatively easy too. For example, to collapse a menu, I would just press, like, for example, the Alt Control left arrow. I believe it's one of those things I memorized, but there's a way to do it with a keystroke command. And then to uncollapse a menu or to expand it, you would just, do another keystroke and possibly even just press the space bar, depending on how the developer did it. But those work really well if they're accessible. Then you got this big page of information that you could just collapse and unclaps and hide what you don't want to see.
Thank you. Another question is, would you have any recommendations, or how do we design and develop a simple application that can be used by all users? Any words of wisdom?
Yes. Somewhere on this web page, you can probably link. If not, you can Google it really easily. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0 has lots of guidelines, and if you follow those, it will not only help people who are with visual impairments like myself with screen readers, it will help all people with disabilities and who use assistive technologies as well. So that's would be my advice. If you go out there, there's like examples, within each guideline. It tells you how to meet those guidelines. It's a really good reference. And I'll correct that a little bit. It will help most people with disabilities. There's some fringe disabilities that might be harder to create accessible media for, but it will handle, the majority of the cases.
Excellent. Thank you so much again. It was such a interesting and very enlightening discussion. So I would just like, on behalf of all of us, to thank you for the time and really just demonstrating so well the challenge that exists here. I do want to kind of quickly mention before we close up the meeting that I wouldn't be doing my job as Houston HHFES president if I didn't mention the fact that we still have the one-day symposium planned for April 29th. Feel free to go by the website. It has all the new dates since we shifted the day due to the pandemic. So please do kind of keep that in mind. We hope to see many of you there. Thank you. The link is actually in the chat. So thank you for that, and thank you again for a just wonderful discussion and appreciation from all of us. So if there are any other questions or thoughts that you'd like me to forward, I'm happy to collect any additional ones in the chat and send to Bill. But other than that, have a safe rest of the week, and everyone take care.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.